the school book depository building, takes a different bus than the usual one he goes home on, and that one drops him off down here near the zoo or something, right? So then he gets off there and he's walking back to his apartment through a weird neighborhood through this way, and then shoots Tippett on the way there. Or did he go back to his room first? I gotta go look this up and get the whole course of events, make sure I have this clear and really do my research. But here's the Texas theater where he ends up later on. So did he, go this weird way to the Texas theater? How did he end up over here?
How did he even get out of the building in the first place? Everybody would have rushed, would have been around there.
Yeah, it's weird that he got out of the building and was able to get that far and then shoot J.D. Tippett. But then there's the other theory that J.D. Tippett was not shot by Oswald, that he was shot as part of the cover-up, and that he was in fact killed by two of the other Dallas police officers who were covering up parts of the assassination. So there's a theory that Captain Westerbrook and Sergeant Kenneth Croy were both involved in the Tippett murder.
I remember some witnesses saying that they saw him on the ground floor like a minute before the shooting too.
Yeah, in the Coke in the room, the lunchroom, drinking the Coke.
That's what it was.
Right. Which is kind of weird that he wouldn't be out there watching the parade, with everybody else. Why would he be inside and whatnot? It's just it's all very, very strange. But yeah, I'm gonna dig into the whole timeline, get a whole timeline thing going, because I thought that was really interesting in trying to prove this argument, or whether he had time to get to the J.D. Tippett murder scene and whether he did that or not, and the whole arguments there, because that's a whole another rabbit hole to go down. But yeah, it's interesting. Kind of, if I ever get to go to Dallas, these are the places you can go and do the tour and check out those places. And if anyone's down there local to Dallas, they can go do it. That would be awesome too. I don't know if there's any. I don't see too many videos up with that stuff.
Someone else,
but yeah, he was a lookalike, man. J.D. Tippett. So let's look up J.D. Tippett. You see, he people used to tease him on the police force and say that he, they used to call him JFK, because I mean he looks kind of like JFK. He really could almost pass for the body double, and that's the whole idea, is that there were two caskets. There was a surgeon who was aboard the flights actually out of the place, doing surgery on the bodies, before, because Tippett was apparently shot in just the way that, JFK was shot, so like they switched the bodies to like hide the wounds, and then, so that when they went and killed Tippett, they probably shot him the other way for real. And that way his head wounds would match what the official story said about what happened to Kennedy. It's just a crazy to think that they went through this much to cover this up, but apparently
did Oswald really kill Tippett outside of the house? That's the question. Did he?
There's a couple witnesses whose testimony differs,
Yeah.
And,
that is the weirdest part of the story, isn't it? I mean, one of the weirdest parts is this cop being killed that looks like Kennedy. It's such a, God, it's so strange, man. It's like out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like there's the...
I think a lot of it was the height and weight and everything, and the facial, like the jaw structure and all that stuff is what they always used to say.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, then when they got back at the, I think it was the police captain, but they showed the gun and it was different than the one that Oswald used.
The big guy, Tippett.
That's what I think. Captain Captain, what's it, Westbrook? They think that he actually shot Tippett,
and it wasn't Lee Oswald,
right? Apparently,
remember Lee Oswald supposedly came into contact with him for like 5 seconds and killed him.
Right. Well, apparently it's like like JD Tippett was like had an affair with Westbrook's wife or something like crazy. I happened reading about that. JD Tippett had an affair with somebody, and
it's really
there's something else going on behind the scenes of why this guy hated Tippett and would have signed himself up for this. There's more to the story than all that.
The coroner had never even done an autopsy either. Why would you pick somebody that was inexperienced? Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, well, they sent the thing to they did the autopsy in Bethesda, where Bethesda was notorious for all this deep state, cover-ups and hospitalization of James Forrestal and all kinds of craziness, so
it's just a weird story. It really is. The whole thing's weird.
That video and book that Jim Mars made is good too. The Crossfire by Jim Mars. That's what the JFK Oliver Stone movie was based on.
Yeah. Well, I do have a PayPal. I will set it up and give people that, but PayPal takes a percentage too, man. So it's, I don't know. It's like,
yeah, but it's not 30%. I mean, it's a heck of a lot less. So
what's Patreon? Who's done like the whole calculation? What's the best
Patreon takes like 20 to 30%. PayPal takes 1% to 0.5%. So I highly recommend PayPal over anything else.
Okay.
And you got YouTube that takes 30% for you. As a Canadian, YouTube takes 30%, and then the American government takes another 30%. So for anyone that donates to me on YouTube, I only get 40%.
You're dead serious, really?
Dead serious. It's insane.
Dude, that is beyond levels of screwed up. And I thought YouTube.ca was supposed to take care of that problem. But apparently you still have to pay the penance for our country, eh?
Yeah.
Very good. Wow, that's criminal.
Jeremy, what got you talking about
PayPal for anyone donating to anybody over these over the internet in general?
If anything, it should be like maybe a fraction of a percent, not 40%. Damn.
I thought, Jeremy, maybe you're into the UFOs and Kennedy connection type thing, or.
Well, I didn't get fully into that. We were talking a little bit about some of those. I did. There are some of those connections because Guy Bannister, right? So Oswald's in New Orleans passing out these pamphlets, right? And the pamphlets that he passes out for this Fair Play for Cuba committee or whatever he's got, they have the address on the back, and the address on the back is Guy Bannister's office. So when you connect Oswald to Guy Bannister, Guy Bannister was he started the FBI's X-Files. So the whole X-Files was Guy Bannister's file cabinet of all the weird FBI cases. So this is as close to the Men in Black as you almost could possibly get. And when you put Oswald in that group with Guy Bannister and some of these other guys, you start painting a different picture. The aerospace, Civil Air Patrol, you have David Harold Byrd starting that company, making a bunch of money off aerospace technologies and all that stuff afterwards. Then you have the allegation that one of the tramps might have been Fred Chrisman, who's again connected with Guy Bannister and Guy Bannister's office. And Fred Chrisman is this FBI, kind of cross-government, CIA, FBI cross-government agent that shows up at a lot of UFO investigations as this Men in Black supposedly doing government investigations of UFO cases. It kind of links in Oswald to some of this UFO stuff and X technology groups a little bit, as Dark Journalists has got into a little bit. I haven't seen like the solid smoking gun connections into all this, where it's like, boom, haha, like there's a lot of interesting people who are involved around this. And it kind of ties, the whole JFK assassination at its heart to this Roswell and other cover up, of the X technology, which is, of course, that's what E. Howard Hunt told his lawyer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So E. Howard Hunt has this conversation.
Didn't he tell his son or something? Deathbed.
Well, he told his son on the deathbed. So he has the whole recorded deathbed confession that his son recorded with him. And that's a very interesting deathbed confession when you get into that, because he names Cord Meyer Jr. I guess Kennedy had an affair with Cord Meyer's wife, and so Cord Meyer hated Kennedy, and he blames Cord Meyer for the whole assassination conspiracy on his deathbed.
Hey, I've got a really weird question out there for your audience. Has anybody ever seen an unassociated story about psychic spies, aka remote viewers, looking into this whole entire situation? I'd be curious what that opinion is.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. I know I've read Sci-Spies by Jim Marrs, and Jim Marrs's book Crossfire was one of the first books that got me into the JFK assassination. So yeah, Jim Marrs is he's done some good research on a lot of this stuff, laid a lot of the footwork for a lot of these investigations. Yeah, Sci-Spies was a great book about the remote viewing program.
I think that's what launched Jim Marrs's career, the whole JFK thing. He was a newspaper reporter in Dallas, right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, he was young when that happened.
Yeah, he started investigating it, and then got into the deep state, and that's what let him start. He's like, all right, well, I guess I have to keep researching this stuff, because
he heavily got into UFOs,
Yep. Yeah. No, he was. And then the whole thing with Uri Geller, I got to ask, I got Jack Sarfatti was on here talking about the Uri Geller thing and that whole saga. So this is all, it's kind of connected, but it's not like all the same thing. These are different things going on in different time periods and stuff too. So, then it's the 1970s versus the early 1960s. A lot of things kind of happened in that decade between. But yeah, the whole conspiracy assassination is quite interesting. So what was I just talking about with Cord Meyer Jr. and E. Howard Hunt, Fred Chrisman, of course, then Marilyn Monroe and tying Marilyn Monroe and Dorothy Kilgallen into the situation. These were two women that had some really interesting connections and apparently knew a lot of stuff. And
they claim that could have been the reason, the Marilyn Monroe connection.
The Marilyn Monroe connection, yeah, is interesting. But apparently, Kilgallen was on this very popular TV show called Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I guess that used to be Jack Ruby's favorite TV show. He used to have it on at the Carousel Club all the time. So when Kilgallen, approached him to interview him, he warmed up to Kilgallen because he loved the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? And apparently gave Kilgallen the full access and started telling her all kinds of stuff. Gave her information that he never told anyone else. And then shortly after there, she winds up dead.
Wow.
Assassinated. And also Jack Ruby winds up dead. So very, very curious. They plugged those leaks before they could fully happen as they were, happening. And she was, starting to really dig into and learn, deep, dark details about the deep state and the Kennedy assassination. Yeah, very interesting stuff when you start digging into those two. Yeah, because there's rumors that JFK told Marilyn about the UFO file.
Wasn't Jack Ruby killed like within a week of JFK?
No, Oswald was. So Oswald, within like 3 days, Ruby guns down Oswald, and kills so you get the murder suspect. He can never stand trial and never be convicted of the crime because Jack Ruby kills him, and Jack Ruby's tied to he's this wannabe mobster.
The Jack Ruby video looks weird too. If you watch the car headlights, it's like it was timed to them. Maybe that's a coincidence. I don't know. But
what car headlights? What are you talking about?
When you see him going up to the courthouse, they park the car, they start moving around. But when the headlights go off, it's all of a sudden when the action starts moving. It's the video from the outside of the courthourhouse.
Huh? I never
Aren't
seen
they
that.
in the basement of the courthouse and the car pulls up to take him away, and that's
right. Okay. It's right after the car pulls up, and then as soon as the headlights go out, that's when everything happens. It's like somebody said to look for the headlights or something. But like I said, maybe that's just a coincidence. But the whole the video just doesn't look right to me. It looks like a set.
I'll have to watch that one again. You have a copy of the video you can post? I can check it out.
Oh man, I haven't watched that in years.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff gets hard to find too, man. So be careful. So Jack Ruby kills himself. No, I don't know how he dies in prison.
No, I think he dies of cancer in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets sick because Jack Ruby was older. He's like in his 50s, wasn't he, when this happened?
Pulmonary embolism.
Okay, that would be a stroke, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so he had a stroke.
Something like that.
It's a lung blockage.
Yeah, he died. Let's put it this way: it's like natural causes. He didn't hang himself or anything. But
no, huh? But it was really interestingly soon after this whole thing, So this was before the House Select Committee assassinations.
Yeah. I mean, what could have made him go do that? What could have made him go kill? What could have made him go kill Oswald? Is what? Because he didn't love Kennedy, and he wasn't actually in the mob. Or did he do it for some strange reason, like just for the purpose of having the fame to have killed Kenny? Because there are some people that thought that he would have actually gotten off like being a hero. There were people that claimed that he thought that he would have hero status and wouldn't go to jail for killing the guy that killed JFK. I mean, that's some of the
they might have told him that. They might have told him, with his mob connect, because he was like a mob underboss. Like he wasn't very high up. He owned a bunch of nightclubs that weren't doing well. Is about to get shut down. Owed a ton of people money. Had gambling debts and all kinds of other problems going on in his life. They probably told him, "Listen, you do this for us, we'll take care of you."
Yeah,
or something.
So you think the mob was connected in the whole thing, and
well, they were connected in with Alpha 66 and Operation 40. We know that CIA was working with mobsters. It later came out like Sam Giancana, who RFK was going after. A lot of these mobsters. These guys hated Kennedy. The Kennedys.
Do you have any belief at all that Oswald did it?
Then Johnny Rosselli.
Anybody think Oswald was able to pull it off?
Yeah, Will Shermer thought that, and was arguing in favor of that idea. And
the gun was not a real good gun. That's the only thing that I never understood. The gun was like a one that was ordered out of an old school magazine back then. And then when Jesse Ventura went to test fire the exact type of gun, the thing performed shitty, man. It was bad.
Well, it's weird because there's ones that are it's weird because it's a foreign rifle, so it's an Italian rifle, but it's based on a Turkish rifle.
Okay.
or something. So like it takes a slightly different type round.
Mhm.
So
yeah, I've seen one guy pull it off. No, no problem firing the shots off. And then you see like Ventura struggled, and Ventura's a SEAL, so it's not like he doesn't know how to fire a weapon off. But yeah, I've seen some weird stuff when it comes to that whole part of it.
Oswald didn't score very good either on his sniper training.
Yeah, well, he was still a sniper though.
Mixed things on that. So this.
Yeah, but JFK was shot from the front, not the back of the head. If Oswald did it, he would have been shot in the back of the head.
Well, that's the whole thing too. Then you have that conspiracy that goes on at the naval hospital. That they forced the doctors down there to say how it happened, and that's a whole nother thing there. That's just crazy, man. If he was shot from the front, then the whole story's definitely bullcrap. Yep. That's the whole thing.
Well, the thing is, they were left with all these bullet holes, and they had to explain them with 3 shots and 3 bullets.
And that's where you get that magic bullet thing, right?
They struggled to do that, man, and it was they had the magic bullet because they really didn't. It was not easy to explain the evidence at hand with the story that they were trying to sell to the American public.
Well, hey, Trump could have disclosed the paperwork, and he hid it for another 25 or 50 years or something like that. That explains what happened, or am I wrong? Didn't he?
He disclosed what he was allowed to, and then they made him classify the rest of it, right?
But yeah, something like that.
He should have just declassified everything. Like, he screwed himself.
Yeah, because everybody that's involved is like, if there's even somebody alive, they're so damn old.
I'm betting it implicated the CIA because, like you said,
that's what I wondered.
It has to be like an agency connection. And that's the reason it wasn't released, because it would have caused too much turmoil in between the government.
He told Roger Stone that he won't believe what's in the classified JFK.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it was ultimately.
That makes me wonder if it is ETs.
Yeah, maybe it's something even bigger. I don't know. And maybe you gotta think, like, by this point they might have sanitized and replaced a lot of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Roger Stone's nuts. I mean, there's not much he won't believe.
What on earth ever happened to JFK's brain anyway? How does and how do you even leave? Start out in a nice casket and then you end up in Washington in like a pauper's casket.
Oh yeah, that whole story there on the airplane is so bizarre. Everything about this whole thing is so darn bizarre, man.
Yeah, there's plus president like that, there'd be a ton of Secret Service around and everything. There's no way somebody could do that unless they had high level connections.
Yeah, they had Secret Service. There's people in the Secret Service were involved. So about the Secret Service connections and everything, about I talked about Albert Borland, the first black Secret Service agent. And he tried to blow the whistle on the plot in Chicago, where they had a plot in Chicago. They were going to kill JFK there. And then they decided that Dallas was like the best spot because they had everyone, all the right people set up in Dallas, and
right. So they exposed that they were already planning to do it somewhere else, and then that they chose to do it where they did it, and they did it.
When was the Chicago plot?
So Abraham Borland, is this the guy's name? No, what was it? Oh no, hold up. Let me find the guy's name now.
What are you looking for, Jer?
The Secret Service agent.
Oh, okay.
Bolden is his name.
It's a lot of Abrahams involved in this situation.
Abraham Bolden. Yeah, this was the Secret Service agent. They put him in prison and tried to say that he was crazy and all this stuff. They
never even heard of him.
Yeah, they put a whole bunch of
black man. The first African American, you said, secret agent, or was this a different agent?
Exotic proposal.
Is seeking $50,000 for a secret file on the investigation. Oh, so they made up all this this stuff about him. And he talks about it in an interview later, you know, after he got out and had to go through all this crap. And he's like, they silenced him.
Thank God they released him, though. Like,
is he still alive? Maybe somebody could get a hold of
the interview with this. Yeah. So the allegations of the Chicago plot to assassinate John F. Kennedy. All right. So you're not seeing this because fucking goddamn Mac suck. All right. This is great stuff, man. I had no idea this guy even existed, and I was like, "What? This guy's like, you know, this is like serious history, man. That they charged this guy with false charges. They
framed him, and that this guy's like the missing key to put the JFK assassination on the CIA. Essentially,
well, no, on the Secret Service, so that to show that not only was the CIA involved in, you know, Ruth Paine's sister, you know, so Ruth Paine goes and meets her sister who works with the CIA in September of 1963, and then drives down through New Orleans and picks up Marina Oswald and brings the Oswalds back to Dallas with her right after that. It's all like clockwork with this. So the CIA is different than the Secret Service. You have the Secret Service that didn't like agents that didn't like Kennedy. A couple of them on top. You ever seen the Secret Service stand down protest?
They did what?
Let's look up JFK Secret Service stand down.
No, I never heard of that.
Yeah. All right. So that's where JFK was shot. They pulled the Secret Service agents off.
Right before he was shot, man, they pulled a Secret Service agent.
Seemed normal as the president's Secret Service bodyguards kept their ever watchful eyes on the crowd. Everything seemed normal as the president's motorcade began its journey. Everything seemed normal. That is, up until this instant. What took place is so odd that we're going to examine the scene 4 more times.
Yeah, you see him pulling his hands up.
Is this the same day?
Watch the left side of your screen.
Yeah,
the arrow points to agent in charge.
A few seconds before it happens.
As he stands in the Secret Service follow-up car.
Why'd he run off?
Motions with his hand.
Holy crap, man.
What he's doing is calling away the president's 2 most important bodyguards.
Sure is.
The bodyguards whose job was to protect the president's back by riding the bumper of the limousine throughout the motorcade.
Like what?
That was what?
Literally right before. Okay, that's
so this
not
is the follow-up limousine. So the follow-up limousine has all the Secret Service agents in it, and the head Secret Service agent in charge stands up and pulls those guys off the back of the bumper. So that they should have been riding on the bumper. Their job was to ride on the back of that bumper and dive on the president to act like human shields to protect the president. And they were pulled off. As soon as they heard gunfire, they would have dove in on top of JFK and he would have never got that final headshot off.
Watch again as he stands and orders the agents running at the rear of the president's car away. Watch the confusion inside the follow-up car that results.
Conspirator.
Yeah, that is crazy, bro.
Yeah, that Secret Service agent who ordered those other 2 agents off the back of the bumper, he should have been arrested and investigated.
Is there any interviews with the Secret Service agents that say why they did that? What orders were given or anything like that? You would think there'd have to be, right? The Warren Commission or something. What were you guys doing? Just abandon the back of the.
Yeah, there's a bunch of talk about this too, about the agents that were supposed to be on there and what happened.
Wow, there you go. There's a Secret Service agent right there. The guy.
They break their silence right here.
Yeah, that guy there. Yeah.
They clearly thought it was a bunch of bull being pulled off. You can see the guy is like, he's like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, exactly. He's like, this isn't what we do. Obviously, they practice that all the time.
And like, what happened to those guys afterwards? Were they ever heard of or like talked to, interviewed about it? Like,
man, yeah, really I think they were quite a bit, but I want to listen to them because you go and you go and watch the guys who documented what all the Parkland doctors saw, and they all like showed that they all showed like that this part of his head was blown out, like it was a shot from the front entry hole here, and shot here, like all the doctors unanimously say that. I wonder what the Secret Service agents all say about this and stuff. If there's any, you get this guy and he's probably the most popular, so I wouldn't necessarily say that his is the most important, and you got to dig a little deeper than to find these other guys. I want to go get all that information together because I want to know exactly who those Secret Service agents were. There's names of them everywhere. It'd be good to get all the research done into that because the Secret Service element is definitely key to understanding the assassination plot and who was behind it, because the Secret Service would have had to have access to the Air Force One and to the caskets on the plane and all that stuff. So
do we know about other video recordings then, especially from the media? I would think the media would have the best lenses back then and the best view. I mean,
when shots rang out in Dallas.
Film backup, maybe, at least.
Oh yeah, there's that other footage.
That's the Knicks film.
Yeah.
So let's go look at the Knicks film. Actually, I want to see the Knicks film.
We need to synchronize them and triangulate the audio. I know somebody else has already did that, but I can't.
There's no audio. It's 8mm camera footage, man. There was no audio. It wasn't like cameras nowadays, man.
Somebody else did it from like you said, the video didn't have audio, but somebody else had a separate audio recording they synchronized to it.
You know what's really weird? Back then, the news could have been there and filmed it, but they weren't even there, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's a weird thing, isn't it?
They would have had the highest quality cameras.
Think about that, Jeremy. The news wasn't even there filming, That is really weird, I mean, you think about that. Back then, you had 3 channels, CBS, NBC, and ABC. You didn't have cable or nothing like that. This is 63.
Walter Cronkite said he saw the Zapruder film, and there was no editing, no jumps in the video like there is that we see now.
Oh yeah, well remember didn't Time Life or one of them buy it and they wouldn't give it up? They had it for like 20 years.
Yeah,
and they gave Zapruder $300,000 for it back then, which would be millions and millions.
Well, it's interesting because they didn't show it to the public right away. What they did is they showed it to Dan Rather, who was a young Fox.
Oh, okay.
He was a young reporter at the time, and his job was to tell the American public what was on the Zapruder film. Okay.
You're right.
Oh, that's right, Jeremy. Yes, I've told man, it's been a long time since I've looked.
Yeah, let's listen to this because this is real interesting because this is what Dan Rather would rather you not know about the whole history about how he became a CIA Mockingbird asset. He was a nobody. He was a nobody.
Yeah.
This made his career, man. They're like, listen, you cooperate with us and lie to the American public about what's really on the Zapruder film.
Take care of you forever.
We'll take care of you forever. Now,
but we also own...
The films we saw were taken by an amateur photographer who had a particularly good vantage point just past the building from which the fatal shot was fired. The films show President Kennedy's open black limousine making a left turn off Houston Street onto Elm Street on the fringe of downtown Dallas. A left turn made just below the window in which the assassin was waiting. About 35 yards past the very base of the building, just below the window, President Kennedy could be seen to put his right hand up to the side of his head to either brush back his hair or perhaps rub his eyebrow. President Kennedy was sitting on the same side of the car as the building from which the shot came. Mrs. Kennedy was by his side in the jump seat in front of them. Mrs. Connolly and Governor Connolly. Governor Connolly on the same side of the car as the president, and in the front seat, 2 Secret Service men. Just as the president put that right hand up to the side of his head, you could see him lurch forward. The first shot had hit him. Mrs. Kennedy was looking in another direction and apparently didn't see or sense that first shot or didn't hear it. But Governor Connolly in the seat in front appeared to have heard it, or at least sensed that something was wrong. The governor's coat was open. He reached back in this fashion, exposing his white shirt front to the assassin's window. He reached back as if to offer aid or ask the president something. At that moment, a shot clearly hit the governor in the front, and he fell back in the seat. Mrs. Connolly immediately threw herself over him in a protective position. In the next instant, with this time Mrs. Kennedy apparently looking on, a second shot, the third total shot, hit the president's head. His head could be seen to move violently forward. And Mrs. Kennedy stood up immediately.
What was that? What was that? His head was seen to move violently forward. So this is the most replayed on the video because everyone goes back here and watches and replays that.
President's head. His head could be seen to move violently forward.
Now we know that's absolutely a lie, and that the CIA-controlled media planted that false narrative in the American public's mind, and that the official Zapruder film that we can now watch on YouTube, that anyone can see, was shown for the first time on Geraldo.
Oh, that's right. It was a long time.
We need to save all the stuff like this before it gets edited.
By Lee Harvey Oswald alone.
Yeah, so this is March 6, 1975 on Goodnight America, and this is the first time that the Zapruder film was shown to the American public. And it's a very poor quality version, very,
I've always wondered about that. Okay, you know the headshot? Where he kind of like goes like this right before we see the headshot? I always wondered if maybe he was just grazed at first and that's why he went that, or maybe, like a fly or something, you just kind of do it out of reaction. I kind of wonder if maybe there was, he either got grazed or, maybe something small hit him on a ricochet or something. And that's the reason why he put up his hand like that.
First shot happens behind the freeway sign. It happens right before he emerges from the freeway sign because you can see his hands go up to his throat and he starts grabbing at his throat. Right as the
emergence. Maybe you're thinking? Are you thinking from the front, Jeremy?
Well, he gets shot through the throat, and this is where the windshield's cracked too. Right here, there's a crack.
Oh, that's right. There was a crack in the windshield. Yeah.
So, they took the whole limousine out and replaced it all. They went and redid the whole thing before they even put it in evidence and brought it. Like it was, the whole thing was redone. The whole windshield was replaced to hide the extra bullet holes and stuff too. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, he comes out from the right before he gets from the Stemmons freeway sign is right when he gets shot in the throat. So there's a bullet in his throat or something. His hands go up into this position, and there's a medical surgeon who says when you get shot like it's like a thing that your body will react and do this kind of thing. So this is what he does. So he's grabbing at his throat. Okay, that's the first shot. Now the second shot, okay. You can see that there's a second shot in here somewhere. So Connolly's here now turning around, looking backwards to look back. It's to see what's going on. He turns around completely back that way. He's looking at JFK.
Yeah, he looks like he's hurt there.
Oh yeah, he was hit in the throat, I think, right?
All right, so he gets hit right here somewhere. Okay, so Connolly doesn't get hit till right there somewhere. Because look, Connolly's sitting here, staring right at JFK, looking right at him, of course, and then right around here somewhere he gets hit because look at All of a sudden, before the headshots happen, now his head's turned sideways and he's wailing in agony. Okay.
Man.
Yeah, it's awful.
And then the third shot happens. So there's, it's hard to think. And then his head goes back into the left. So Dan Rather clearly lied about the head. The president's head was seen to move violently forward. No, it didn't.
Right.
Yeah, boy, they made him say that too, because he's reading from a script. It's quite clear.
Yeah, he is. And the CIA wrote it.
He looks like he's got a gun to his head as he was reading it.
Hey, where was the bullet hole in the windshield?
Very high to the top of the window.
Yeah, so you can see it right here. This little white.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wrong, man.
So that would mean that the person would basically have to be directly ahead of them.
Is that in the glass? I don't know if that's it.
I thought it was towards the top. I could be totally wrong, man. I don't know. I'm not up to par on this.
We had a film copy instead of a video copy.
But you can definitely see that Connolly gets hit and he's turning around facing this other way, but it's at a whole different time period. It couldn't have been so if that was the first shot missed and hit it accounted for the bullet hole in the side. The first shot missed. The second shot hits Kennedy right before he emerges from the Stemmons freeway sign. Why do you have Connolly turning around completely looking at him and then right here before the third shot that's when he goes and puts his head back. I mean, you watch this, right? He puts his head back.
Those people in the background are clearly larger than they are too. They should be.
I wondered if he's alive. He probably had blood sprayed all over him.
Good point, Anthony. That's a good point. They are all larger. Like they should be much smaller in proportion to that vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, look at the person diving. That one seemed proportional, and then that's strange.
Video angles can play tricks, though. When you're go back a little bit.
Let's first, but
go back a little bit, Jeremy. I want to see these people.
If you look at the woman that's where the two people standing, the woman that's in the orange dress, she is clearly much larger than she should be.
What would they have done? I don't understand. What would the
filmmakers would have had to remove the background completely and change around parts of the film to like change around events, like,
and then it would have to match that other film. Though, remember, there's another film that they're filming from across there. It would have to match that one. So I mean,
So we get the next film.
I don't understand what. But why would they do it? It's what I'm asking. Why would they?
Mikey does is saying he says his lawyer told him he was on the Warren Commission. Fascinating.
I mean, video can play tricks on your eyes, man. Angles and stuff like that.
That's what I thought at first, but just based on the size alone, they're about 10 feet behind, yet they're clearly larger.
That woman in that orange jacket you're talking about, she looks like she's 10 feet tall. I noticed.
It's Mary Mormon. Yep.
Huh. The dress was a signal, someone says. That dress. You mean that jacket? She had an orange, it looked like an orange jacket. That bigger than the film from the top. CUT stuff, special effects. Okay. Portions off. Yeah, I believe that. The background was spliced in. Notice how the crowd is lined up like the robots alongside of the road. It's all fake. That's what Charles Milligan says.
It does look like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be really hard for them to like completely fake and do something with it. I heard like some frames were removed or missed or moved around in it. That's what I heard, is that they edited by removing.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Stuff around. I don't think it was completely faked. I just think they
could have blew that section up and spliced it in and refilmed all of it.
Yeah, right, Dan? What you're saying makes the most sense, I think.
Yeah, but why? That's what I don't understand. What are they? They're trying to cover something up so you can't see something. They don't want us to see something that may be visible back from this side.
Something just disappeared,
right? What do you think, Burn? What do you think, brother? Been a while.
It's very sus, to say the least. Oh, maybe that was just the mouse cursor going over.
It's an incredible it's a horrible story, but the conspiracy end of it's so insane. There's so much going on. Tell you one thing that's a good, and there's, I think they're on BitChute. The Jesse Ventura conspiracy theory show on this was pretty darn good. He had gotten into it with the former LA prosecutor that swears and declares it was Oswald and stuff like that. Man, they really got into it, and that's where the E. Howard Hunt confession comes into play. With his son, was on that show, was on the Jesse Ventura show.
Yeah, and
wasn't that Bugliosi? I think that
was Bugliosi or whatever.
But do you know Bugliosi was like he was like the prosecutor for the Manson case, and it later came
that's exactly the guy. Yeah, him and Jesse Ventura. If you type it in, you'll see him and Jesse Ventura arguing.
Yeah. I've seen that
because Ventura's arguing it's not Oswald, and Bugliosi is saying it is, and it's
he's an MK Ultra. He prosecuted Charles Manson to hide the CIA's involvement with MK Ultra. And
that's Manson. The guy, man. You got it.
He's a cover-up guy.
Is he? That
he's CIA. Yeah, he's totally friggin' Bugliosi's like totally like CIA cover-up guy, man.
Shit.
He's the bug out Bugliosi. The bug out Bugliosi comes in to cover it all.
That's the thing is, man, if Bugliosi's the prosecutor on the Manson murder trial, he's obviously covering up for the CIA there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder what he's doing for the CIA with the JFK assassination. It is.
Maybe we should look into what else he's done.
Yeah,
he's been involved in a number of the highest profile cases there are. Yeah.
It's so basically the corruption peak of the Biden criminal gang that we see today is that evolving over 3 generations, I guess, right? Or like.
Scary, man. We live in scary times. We're like so close to nuclear war right now, and no one even that I know of even thinks anything of it or knows anything of it. It's like you don't see what's going on. You're not worried about what's going on with us in Russia right now, and it's very serious, man.
It is.
That destroying the pipeline that could have got us in a war.
That was an act of war. It's absolutely insane.
They claim that they're never bringing the price of wheat back down ever. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, man. When they activated that Satan II missile the other day, they said in 6 minutes that missile, which holds like 50 other missiles inside of it, 6 minutes, it can destroy all of the United Kingdom in 6 minutes. From the time it hits the United Kingdom, the whole United Kingdom, just with one missile, which it's over 100 feet tall, and it's got 20 or 30 missiles inside of it.
Yeah, and each one of them are the hypersonic re-entry pods. It's like it's absolutely
Satan II. Is it the Satan II? It's called, right?
Yeah, you got it.
I saw it on Timcast. Timcast posted all about it, man.
Yeah, watch him all the time.
It's scary, bro.
They have up
a little bit more stable than our government.
Like 50 re-entry vehicles of the hypersonic re-entry vehicles within one of those. It's like
each one of those times ever, man, and you don't even hear anybody talking about it.
Is that nuclear propelled too? I know they said something.
No, that one's not. That's not even their nuclear propelled ones. They do have nuclear propelled ones, and they will go indefinitely. They last indefinitely in the atmosphere until they choose a target.
1,500 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb.
The story with the Jesse Ventura conspiracy theory show was also the #1 show on the entire network when they canceled it.
Are you serious? The JFK one.
#1 show. Yep.
The JFK one. Wow.
No, the whole show, the conspiracy theory, the show in general, man. They were getting really good ratings, man. People love that content.
He was doing great work. He
pissed them off with one show, and I think it was the one that had to do with oh man, what was it? And he explains it. It was one show they did. Darn it. I can't remember because it's been 10 years, at least 12 years.
He showed some of the things for 9/11 too, like the giant piece of steel that was bent around at a 90-degree without breaking.
Yeah.
So it clearly heated up.
Yeah, he showed some good stuff,
the whole
man. But he got like
steel never exceeded 350 degrees though.
He got a lot caught up in a lot of disinformation too on that show. He got like led down some of the wrong rabbit holes and stuff too on some of that. But
Alex Jones
on the shows were definitely dumb. But
remember Jones was on a bunch of shows with him.
And what happened to June Sarpong, man? I never she was like great on that show. I thought she had like a whole future ahead of herself, man. Like
probably was destroyed over that show, right?
They probably like blacklisted her because like, all right, she knows too much. We can't,
She was really smart. She's like an English accent.
To Bearden. They said on one of their episodes that Bearden, I guess, scared the hell out of one of their reporters, so they quit.
No, wait a minute. What's this?
One of their reporters that went to interview Bearden, that he had told him that, people that ask about Star Wars and the weapons programs tend to disappear, have accidents. I guess it scared the person so much she quit.
Yeah, there was a number of things that Jesse Ventura got involved in. And then he'd go right down to DC, and he pissed the wrong people off. And that show was it was canceled, man. It was
that one that talked about the what was it called? It was the Tesla Shield and something else. Real big guy that was involved in the secret programs himself. That was talking about that we have the scalar type weapons, and he said they can destroy continents, and he died in like the next day or two.
Oh yeah, I don't. Oh, that's right. Yes, I know what you're talking about. They went to interview him, and he was dead.
It was Tom. It was Tom Bearden.
No, it was another person. Tom Bearden was the one that had interviewed where she quit, but the person that died, that was a separate story. That
it was a guy, and it was real weird.
All of the people, and he had mentioned one of the weapons that destroyed continents.
Gus Grissom
died in the hotel room where Ventura was supposed to interview him at or whatever. I'm serious. It was that weird.
No, this was 1967. This guy died, so it couldn't have been him. Not Gus Grissom. Sorry. Try again. Anyone else got another name I can look up?
No, it wasn't a NASA guy. It was
well, let's now look into Gus Grissom's story, because that might be a whole other rabbit hole.
That's a guy there that pissed off all of his bosses, and he ended up, the way he died is horrible. Good goodness. Gus Grissom taught NASA a hard lesson.
Yeah, they were saying that he was lying for years or something, right? And
yeah, remember he hung a lemon on the limb?
I think it's the guy that was in the last episode that was called Brain Invaders.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time.
Yeah, I'm looking up the episode.
Fred Bell, that one guy said that name rings a bell for some reason, literally.
Yeah,
Fred Bell, I think it was him.
He spoke out on. He's made at least one other video where he was talking about this. That's on YouTube, but I can't remember the guy's name. I'm thinking it's Tim something. I can't remember. But he had said that it's basically, like mind control type weapons, and that they can destroy continents.
That's right. There's his son. I forgot all about him. You don't see any of these guys anymore.
Yeah, what happened to Tyrell Ventura?
Yeah, Tyrell Ventura, and then remember
the Buzzsaw show with the something else too.
With what's his name's son, the guy that did the movie about JFK.
Aren't they both down in Mexico now? Like they literally had to flee America.
Yeah, well, they didn't have to, but he prefers to stay in the Baja. He says it's called where he's at. Yeah, Ventura's something else, man.
I think he's epic.
Yeah,
he's like, I used to body slam people, then I was governor, now I'm investigating conspiracies.
Yeah,
did a lot.
Nick Bajic think that's it, right?
Nick Begich. He was killed flying. Or no, Nick Begich is still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, not him. This guy was like really large.
No, this is not him. This is not Nick Begich.
Or Nick Begich's father was killed flying in Alaska. Nick Begich, yeah.
Yeah, he disappeared.
He disappeared. Wow. In 72, he disappeared. Holy crap. Huh. And they're Alaskans.
Oh, wow. So this was in 72, and in the plane and or any of its 4 occupants have never been found, man.
That happens a lot in Alaska, though, believe it or not.
Imagine that. Someone could find them, though. Like, this got to be like someone years from now they're going to, after global warming heats up Alaska and turns it into the only habitable place left on the planet. Right.
It's scary, isn't it? I mean, you think about it, because it's going to be high enough elevation, maybe.
Oh, so did anyone see the new video with the methane crath rates?
No.
Yeah, so someone's this was the.
I have to interject to Dharma here. That Raytheon guy is Eric Hecker, and I have an upcoming interview with Eric Hecker and Dutch Sense together on September 8th at noon p.m. or noon, p.m. Pacific.
Eric
you guys are welcome to join in if you want to.
Eric has quite the temper. Remember Jeremy? He came on your show a couple of times. And,
yeah.
All I did was go to ask him a question not long ago, and man, he has quite the temper. It was before he was on I think he was on the Sean Ryan show and all that stuff, and he was all stressed out, I guess, because there was all these. Greer got a hold of him and stuff like that. But you're talking about the Eric Hecker from Alaska.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a story to tell. He lived at South Pole Station.
Right, for a full year.
Yeah, and that's rare. Most of the time it's a 6-month gig, and they force you to come back. He switched jobs when he was down there in like the summer or whatever. Very weird, very weird story. But what he says, man, is pretty. He claims there's a lot of weird stuff going on down there, man. I'm not gonna get into it.
So this is Anton Petrov did this video where he talks about the methane crath rates and that we might be like going into irreversible global warming, catastrophic runaway global warming.
Okay, and why is that happening? Because of the methane rate.
Because it's like frozen methane in like tons of these ice crystals at the bottom of the permafrost and stuff. And once that melts, it's going to release all that methane into the atmosphere. And methane, as mentioned, like the cow farts, it's like it's 20 times the greenhouse gas that CO2 is. Or I forget like how many.
Yeah, well, they're talking about cutting down all the trees over it. Yeah, I was reading about that the other day. It's real weird, man. Cutting down all kinds of trees. Did you see that? Now they're talking about cutting down all kinds of trees.
Hey, I put a link in the private chat for. I found that episode. If it's about 3:20 to 3:30, shows that person. I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to.
All right.
Green Invaders. Yes, that is one of the shows. Yeah.
Where is that at? 20 minutes?
Yeah, that was a
3 minutes, 20 seconds.
Man. That show was so suspenseful. You just don't. TV's not that good anymore.
Let me share it so you can hear it.
Yeah.
Daily Motion.
Oh, here it is. Dr. Terry Robertson. It's at 3:04 is when he first introduces.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. That's not the guy. That's one of the persons talking about it. The next person, that's kind of like really large guy, is the one that was actually involved in developing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
3820. That's what the person is. It's at 38 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, Eric's something else, man. He's CIA station chief who suffered from.
Where do you find this stuff, bro? This is memory hold. All right, this is all like stuff that's been memory hold, and I found it because I was there for it when it came out. Like we watched this years ago. So yeah,
it's been shut off since like 2012. I bet you, Jeremy, 2013, right?
Hell yeah, man! They did a number on a lot of this info.
And there was one specific episode that shut it off, and I can't remember what it was. It was, I think it was the when he started going around to those internment camps or whatever they were, something like
FEMA
that.
camps, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was, the FEMA camps, yeah. Yep. And he bothered that one congressman right on camera, and that's what did it, man.
There's a guy, Breary. I've got this name wrong, but it's close. It's like Breary Trower, like BRARI something Trower. He's a microwave weapons expert. That he said he worked on a lot of these weapons. Also, he's also like has a physics background, and he's made a few videos talking about different microwave weapons.
Yeah, that the voice of God, weapon, that's not like a secret. They've talked about that before. Am I right about that, Jeremy, or am I wrong?
We're getting close to about 3 hours here, man, and you know what? I'm gonna wrap up the live stream on here shortly, guys. So if you didn't want to share anything or say anything before we wrap this up, now is your chance. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into all these detailed like weeds. This is time for the after party backstage. So there's the StreamYard link for everyone that wants to jump on and hang out and stuff and kind of hash this stuff out. I don't know how much longer I can stay on.
Excellent episode tonight, my friend.
Yeah, this was fun, man. I don't know how it gets to be this
undeniable evidence.
Well, it's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of research. So it's just crazy how it's. I thought that we were only going for like a half hour when I did that debate with Shermer, and it's like, wow, 2-3 hours went by, dude. It's like crazy, you know, just how much information there is, and when you go deep diving, like how long it can take. Because
so many different connections.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So
And before you go, you got a 24-hour stream or watch party on 9/11 or something you're doing, or what's that about?
Yeah, so September 4th is today. So when's
Monday?
Oh, right.
Because I'm supposed to get back to work that day.
It's another, yeah. So this will be next Monday, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some programming lined up. I'm going to have some guests. So I already got Jason Burmis agreed to jump on with me. I'm going to try to have some more other guests for 9/11 people. And we're just going to show because there's a ton of 9/11 documentaries, and I'll probably put those on a playlist and just play them and just show them, just broadcast.
You mind if I co-stream that with you? That sounds pretty epic.
Yeah, so we'll just do the all-day thing. I want to do some footage from the day. I'm going to play a couple documentaries like Core of Corruption, which is a great ensemble of all the original news footage, like the stuff that they memory hold and got rid of years ago. So we're going to show some stuff that people haven't seen. It's not well known, and we're just going to do an all-day.
And we'll make sure it's restreaming on Rumble and OdySee as well, so they can't shut it down.
We should cross-platform that. Let's talk about it and get it set up. And anyone else who wants to be involved, let me know.
And you're gonna go backstage now with the
a lot of the high-level connections too, like how somehow NORAD's communication was messed up. It's like not just anybody could have access to that. You know, not even counting the videos. It's like, how on earth did you get access to NORAD communications where NORAD couldn't call out?
All right, guys,
that's definitely something on the inside.
Let's I'm gonna shut this down for right now. Thank you all for watching Alien Scientists. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all the new memberships and all the super chats, guys. Thank you so much. Can't do it without you. You guys are awesome. And go, if you haven't checked out the debate I did with Michael Shermer, go check out that. It came out on DarkHorse just a couple days ago. DarkHorse podcast with Brett Weinstein, and thank you guys. You're fabulous, and we're digging down the rabbit hole, going deep, and I'm glad we could flush out a lot of this information. Feel free to jump in. The StreamYard link is there. Anyone wants to jump in and come share some information, hang out at the after party. Thank you all so much, and go subscribe to Bernard over at Crypto Alchemist too, and check out Bernard's channel. Thank you, Bernard, again for joining us tonight, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a great night.
Am I in the right one?
Thank you. Good night.
That Michael Shermer guy is a real fix.